Hello guys, and welcome here to the 7-Eleven IndyCar Series, race number 9 here today from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Today we present to you the Honda Indy 200. I'm Brian James here in the booth with you, and starting on the pole will be James Qualls in the number 24. He was outside the guy who almost won yesterday. That's Max Anderson. Of course, the race came down to some late pit strategy, and it actually benefited the 8 of Alexander Rowe. He won back-to-back 7-Eleven IndyCar Series races and now holds a 96-point lead entering this race. Can he leave here with that same gap? That will be the question. And of course, will we see the same craziness on pit strategy? Keep in mind though, this track a lot more wider. There's no walls for these guys to hit really, as this is not a street course, this is a road course. Another thing to keep in mind, this is the final road course race for a few races, because of course, coming up on the schedule, we got Homestead next, and of course that will be tomorrow most likely, and then Iowa as well. That will likely wrap up the race week here on GCN. And of course you got Richmond, so we got 3 straight ovals coming up. 1 big oval and 2 short ovals. So we'll see how this... Sorry about that, guys. So as I was saying, we'll see how that shakes up everything here. Anyway, without further delay, let's show you your starting lap, and then we'll be back here in just a moment with the green flag. Here we go. We get ready to get racing here from Mid-Ohio. Maybe I was a little wrong. There are some walls pretty close by, but of course there's more room for error here than there was at Toronto yesterday. So this should be good for those guys. James Qualls will lead us up the hill for the final road course race for a little while. Pace car is off. It'll be 2 Chevys. James Qualls, Max Anderson. They'll lead us down the front straight. The green flag is out. The Honda Indy 200 is underway. Look at them all jostling and spreading out here as Max Anderson will go to the race lead. Look at it, there's still 2, 3 wide back there. That may not work too well, as now they head down the long straight here, up to 6th gear. They've got to get this solved. They're entering the S's very soon. Oh, the 20 ran a little wide. And back up the hill they go. As Max Anderson, he will lead the opening lap here in the Honda Indy 200. James Qualls about 6/10 back, and just look on back. They've gone single file now. And of course, as mentioned, we go to Homestead next. First time IndyCar's been there in a while. Then we go to Iowa, Richmond, Road America. Those are the next handful of races. And of course, likely Richmond or Road America will be the Monday right after Easter. So we have that to look forward to here on the campaign. And of course, the big question will be, who can stop that 8? Again, these guys really, really far behind Alexander Rowe in the points. You don't want to be too far back entering, or when we go to Laguna Seca at the end of the year. Again, we're still a ways away from that. But of course, the main thing to keep in mind, there is no points reset in this series. So that is the only reason I'm stressing the season finale. There is double points available at Laguna Seca, but of course, you gotta keep in mind, even though there's double points available at Laguna Seca, there is no points reset. There is no playoffs like the stock car series here on GCN. Of course, when we had Zach Fitzwater here, he had mentioned just how good Max Anderson is on these road courses. And he's starting to flex it here today in an IndyCar. This, of course, happened when we had the stock cars here at Mid-Ohio. He had his eye, or when we had the stock cars somewhere on a road course, I think it was Mid-Ohio. But he had his eyes on Max Anderson, who was driving for Braun Racing. Of course, his teammate Parker Smith is also back there. Something to keep in mind, Parker Smith's in 4th. So these two Ed Carpenter racing cars running very well thus far. And actually the Chevys are really flexing right now. All 5 positions are held by Chevy right now. Again, we know these guys looking forward to going to Homestead next race. That should be a very entertaining race for the IndyCar series. We got about 10 laps to go. And we should see pit stops relatively soon. That could shake things up. You see that lead somewhat shrinking this time for Max Anderson. Of course, back there, they're still single file, it looks like. Yeah, pretty much single file all the way through the pack here, with Austin Shaw rounding out the field right now. Anyway, let's see, do they pit this time? And they do. Max Anderson will lead some of the guys on. Parker Smith, his teammate, will stay out to try to lead the race, and he will this lap. So Parker Smith now the race leader. Does anybody else stay out with them? Yes, the 5 of Joshua Osborne. And it's just those two that stay out. Everybody else comes in. Now, we usually question pitting a lap later because it doesn't benefit you here in the 7-Eleven IndyCar Series too much. But could it very well pay off for Parker Smith? Because, of course, now he likely just turned that into a one-stopper. If these guys have to pit again, he'll be good. But if not, he likely just killed his chances at a win and might have just moved himself further down the grid. And the 21 comes in this time. Here comes the 5. And he'll pit as well this time. Oh, wait, did the 9 stay out? Yeah, the 9 stayed out, and so did the 81, so my mistake. Yeah, I did not see those guys stay out, so my apologies for that. You see, here comes the 20 to reclaim the lead. And he will this time. Here comes the 21. It's going to be close. But you see, the 20 hangs on. How about that? The 21 of Parker Smith, he'll be second after all that. But of course, you got to keep in mind, he's on cold tires, so he is going to take probably a few turns to warm up. You see right there, he's under heavy pressure from James Qualls. Max Anderson will hold on to the lead. Here's the battle for second. James Qualls right on the corner. But Parker Smith will hang on for the time being and maybe helping his teammate a little bit. Saying, if I can't win, I can at least help my teammate. And you see the 5 is also in the top 10 now. Joshua Osborne. Look at just how much that 21 is holding these guys up. He's just not that quick right now. And he's going to bunch all of these guys up. Then you see the 24 runs it wide. And now he's under pressure from Samet Ozkan here for the 3rd position. He'll hang on though. Back behind, there's a battle for the 4th position, or rather the 5th position. And it looks like for now, the 7 will hang on. Mohammed Zain Abdullah, of course, he's only running the road course races. You won't see him the next few races. Daniel Gittero will be in that 7. So he's trying to make the most of it, as he won't be back in for the next 3 races. 5 laps to go if you're Max Anderson now. You gotta be feeling confident. You got a 3.6 second lead. This could be a really good day if you're Max Anderson. Of course, you gotta keep in mind, will he have to pit again? Because if he does, his teammate could steal the win. Here we go. We come to 4 laps of racing to go this time. You see the 21's got a little bit of separation between him and 3rd. But the lead is now 4.1. And it is a Chevy-dominated race right now. 5 Chevys in the top 5. Or Zach Fitzwater tried to break that one up by getting 5th, and unfortunately he couldn't do so. We're going to come to 3 to go this time. Does the 20 have enough fuel? You see the tire fall off. It's only a couple tenths. And the lead is shrinking. It's down to 3.8 this time. But the gap between 1st and 2nd is about a second. As it looks like Parker Smith's tires have finally heated up. And as you look on back, are there any battles going on back here? It doesn't appear that way. See the 98 Steve Morgan currently rounding out the field. Not a good day for that 98 team. And obviously here's the time where someone's got to be bold, because of course, you got to keep in mind we're coming to 2 to go this time. We don't know if the leaders can make it on fuel. That's the important factor here. Two to go. The lead is almost 5 seconds now. Not even a caution would help these guys catch Max Anderson because of how close the race is to finish. Again, we don't have overtime in this series. So if a caution were to come out, the race would be over. 20 runs it just a little wide, but it seems to be working for him. He'll go up the hill. Will he pit? Because if he can't make it on fuel, and he can't, the 20 comes to the pit lane this time. Parker Smith will go to the race lead. It's going to be the white flag this time. 1 lap of racing to go. Presented by Mitchell's Memes. And Parker Smith plays the strategy perfectly. Of course, he holds a pretty good lead right now over Joshua Osborne. In third is Mike Austin. Fourth, Daniel Bouchard. Fifth, Dylan Young right now. How's about this? The 20 only does a stop and go for fuel, and he'll slot out ahead of a few of these guys, so it won't be too detrimental. But Parker Smith, he plays the strategy just right. He stays out a lap later. Manages to save just enough fuel. Basically committed to a one-stop strategy in that Ed Carpenter Chevrolet. And again, this has not been a great year if you're in a Chevrolet. Honda has dominated a majority of the season. But it won't matter right now because Parker Smith is going to get the win here today at Mid-Ohio. Congratulations to Parker Smith. He hangs on for the win. And it should help him out quite a bit, as these guys are still trying to chase down that 8 car of Alexander Roll. We'll see if anybody closed in on him at the end of this race. And we want to thank you for watching. We're going to show you results and standings, and we'll see you for race number 10 here at Homestead. Till then, guys, goodbye, everyone.